All right, everybody, how you doing? So we're going to do a second tutorial today. This one is going to be focused towards DMs again, but it's going to be focused on how to integrate ChatGPT or other AIs into assisting with the dungeon making process. So we've tried a few dungeons using ChatGPT to various different, intensities, I guess you could say. I think after this point, what I was hoping would be possible, that kind of DM-less D&D where everybody could be a player and the AI could run 90% of the things. I don't think that's possible after running here. It simply makes a few too many errors. It misunderstands some things, and it just generally it doesn't have the desired result. I think it needs to be curated and guided. So DMs are still going to have to do what DMs always do, but it's an incredible tool for enhancing your dungeons. And so I wanted to go a little bit into that today, how you could use it to make everything just a little bit better. One thing it's really great at is the creative stuff, the flavor text, and creating a theme and an environment, which is stuff that I'm not as good at. So being able to rely on the machine to do that is really going to help me a lot. But there's also some things that you're still going to need to do yourself. So compared to our original format, this is going to be a little bit more time intensive to set up, but not too much, and I think the return on investment is really good. So, all right, this is under the assumption that you watched the other dungeon, excuse me, the other DM video, and you know how to set up a dungeon, at least using the rules that we use here. So I am going to show the process of creating a dungeon today. That's going to be played later. I'll make the video. I'll air it after the dungeon's done, and we'll just see how it goes. All right. So step one, just like always, is going to be to create your overland map, or just pick your overland map. Let's see. We got a pretty low level group today, so we'll keep the encounter numbers fairly low. What does floor 30 look like? Floor 30. Yeah, we've recently used floor 30. I can tell who's who based on which tokens are still left behind on the map. If I see Star Wars tokens, I know it's been a minute. Yeah, see, we got Punching Buddy on there, so this is a newer one. What about New 7? All right, looks like New 7 hasn't been used at all. It's also missing my icons. Let me go pick those up. Ignore the cat in the background, doing whatever it is that he does with his life. All right, we'll go back to New 7. Now, again, as always, so you don't lose it, whatever map you're working on, go ahead and drag it up to the top. Remember to bring it back later, but you can drag it up here just so you don't lose track of it. We'll pop in. Well, first let's do a white space here, because they did change the background color. Okay. Or maybe this is on the wrong layer. That's what it is. All right, I got my icons. All right, so now we got our dungeon. The one thing you're going to have to do differently than how we normally do it is by writing out your rooms. Make sure you're in the DM layer and go ahead and label the rooms with a number. Okay, well, that's freaky. I suppose you could do free text as well, but I'm lazy and I'm going to do it this way. All right, Seer Dungeons has got 9 rooms. That's going to be important. Roll your skulls. Today we decided to add in, he's getting angry and guerrilla warfare. So we're going to have a bunch of angry guerrilla enemies that attack from ambush and do more damage as time goes on. We can introduce that too. All right. So now normally we would go into our encounter builder, we start rolling up monsters, we'd place everything. We could still kind of do that. Let's say what rooms we want to have fights in. We'll have a nice introduction fight in 3. We'll do a semi-fight here in 8. And we'll do maybe an optional guy in 6. that they may or may not encounter. We could even do it in 4 since, no, we'll give them 4. We'll do some investigative stuff here in 4, and we'll do it in 5. I want to actually bring the little number 4 with me. And we'll say 7 will have the path to the bonus boss. Ooh, not a good bonus boss map. And maybe we want room 5. Or, yeah, room 5. We'll do a puzzle in room 5. Again, I'm drawing shapes. It's not what I clicked. Okay. Alright. So here we go. We got our dungeon set up. We could do lock and key because there's kind of a quick path to the boss. So let's go ahead and do that too. We'll do lock and key just in case. They sprint right to the boss. Why is it still on draw shape? Killing me. Alright, so we'll do a lock and key. Put the key over in the puzzle room. There, they gotta at least branch off the beaten path once. Put the key in room 7 as well, so they at least see the bonus boss. Yeah, we'll do that. Alright. That's our setup. So normally, yeah, now we move on to encounters. So we can still kind of do that. So I got the party set up today. We're gonna have 6 players, 3 level 3s, 1 level 5, 2 level 4s. And remember, scale everybody up 2 levels, just to deal with all the nonsense, the extra feats, magic items, higher stats, blah blah blah. Everybody gets a 2-point bump. So today our calculations would be have 3 level 5s, 1 level 7, 2 level 6s. All right, pop open a notepad, and you start taking your notes. We're going to be in Dungeon 7. Our skulls today are Angry When Hit and Gorilla. Gorilla with a U, not the cool gorilla, where I get to fight with gorillas. All right. And we're going to have some trash mobs. We're going to have an extra fight, like a wandering one if things are too easy. The boss, and the bonus boss. Let's do our CR calculations now. All right. Medium. 4 3s. That'll be one of the trash mobs. Second medium, another one will be hard. This will be room 8-1. 8 2s. We've been doing lots of hordes lately. 4 4s. All right, that's a significant step up. Extra, we'll do somewhere between medium and hard. So like roll a hard and then, well, I don't know, this is too much. What am I even looking at here? Oh, this is alphabetical. This is what I was looking for, some 3s. Okay, here we go. Medium feels hard. It's perfect. It's right in between. So your extra 1 round fight will be 1 5 and 2 3s. Your boss, bump it up to deadly. 2 8s. Sounds good to me. Bonus boss, remember add one of the highest and lowest players. So another 5 and another 7. Roll deadly again. 2 5s, 4 4s. Let's try something else. 2 6s, 2 4s. That's only hard. 3 4s is probably too much. No, 3 4s is enough. Okay. All right, bonus boss. 2 6s, 3 4s. So now you've got your basic CR calculation for what you're going to use. And this is the part where normally we'd go over to 5e tools, start dragging and dropping monsters, and go off to town. But today we're going to use ChatGPT. So let's do this. Let's head over to the chat bot. Most of you guys probably have an account. If not, go ahead and set one up. I mean, there's no downside. Stuff's great. Start a new chat. No, like to create a 5e dungeon today. Now, when you're talking to the AI, there's going to be occasions where it's going to not respond the way you want, or it's not going to listen to instructions, or it'll tell you it can't do something, blah, blah, blah. You have to kind of watch your wording here. I've learned that if you just simply state, please generate or please create instead of asking it if it can do something. You just say, please create a dungeon. Please do this. Create an enemy, create an encounter, create a trap. It'll do so. Like sometimes it gets frustrating with like puzzles. It'll create a puzzle, but you'll notice that the puzzle doesn't quite make sense or it doesn't give you the answer, so you can't use that puzzle because you have to know the answer to use it. Um, but if you just dispense the formalities and ask it to please create something, it'll be better. So what I'm going to do here, you could come into this with your own theme. Like it's going to ask the theme, story, levels of the characters, how big the dungeon, blah blah blah. And we can get back to this. You can kind of, once you give him the original prompt, you can kind of ignore his response here, and we're just going to go right into what I want to use today, which is creating a theme. So I'm going to let it create the theme. Here we go. It's just going and going and going. A temple for an underground deity. That's been done. That's been done. No, I don't like that theme. That's not how you spell theme. But it knows how to spell. No. Mine, I feel like we've done mine. Let's see if it can do something more interesting. A lost civilization. Is that what I want to use? Let's tweak it a little bit. Then all right, so we'll give it a prompt. And it's going to keep going on, blah, 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 blah. You know, we don't need to get into that yet, but we'll say we've already done this. All right, now we're going to give it some parameters. It's for party of 6. There's going to be, what did we come up with? 9 rooms? 9 total rooms. Okay. The 9th room is the boss room. Nope, not even one room. We'll get specific with it. If you get one room, it gets weird. Room 5. We'll do that. Room 5 is a puzzle. I'm going to move my screen so I can see which is in what thing here. I don't know how to spell. It's a real problem. Room 2 is kind of a nothing room. Do an obstacle there, something small. Okay, what did we come up with? Now, see, here's the problem. I've done it this way before and asked it to come up with the CRs. So, like, we go back to our list here, and we see our first fight should be against 4 CR3s. And I could put that in here, but it may or may not actually do it. But this is a good test here. So I'll do this. For CR3 monsters found in the Monster Manual. So we're putting in a little flavor here to kind of match our skulls, right? We're doing guerrilla warfare, so all the monsters in this dungeon wait to get the jump on the players. Now, if we had different skulls, we could put in different things. But I'm gonna introduce this little bit of text here to try to encourage the AI, if it's capable, and it might not be, but we're gonna give it a chance. If it's capable to select monsters that fit the theme of probably intelligent, humanoid, military, soldier type enemies that lay in wait and ambush a party. Okay, so that's room 3. Room 4 has, we'll say, room 5 is the treasure. We did that. Room 7. All right. Our bonus boss was 2 6s and 3 4s. I'm kind of curious to see how well it does with this. All right, that's room 7. Room 6 will contain this is my extra fight. It's room 6, 7, room 8. And finally, okay, I think we've got just about everything in here that we need. We've explained what we're going to find in every room. Let's do one more parameter here. Okay, so now we've told it everything we needed to tell it. We'll go back up here. We've explained what we want in every room, going back towards what we created here, right? We've made our 9-room dungeon, room 5 puzzle, room 1 entrance, and this is where it's going to give its blurb. Room 2 a simple barricade that'll block the path forward. Room 3 a fight. God dang it! Why is it always draw shape? Room 3 a fight. Room 4 treasure and crossroads. 7 a key and a path to the bonus boss. 6 a fight. 5 a puzzle. 8 a fight. 9 a puzzle. Oh, we should actually put that room 9. It can't be opened without the key from room 7. Okay. So, I've given it a description. It's going to be a military fortress. I've tried to give it a description of the enemies. Let's see. Let's give it one more. I want it to list out the enemies. Three, 8, 6, and 9. All right, let's see what it comes up with. Now, sit back, enjoy a drink. It's probably going to generate for a while. I'll pause. We'll come back to it when it's done. All right, we're back here. ChatGPT is done after a handful of technical issues. It got about halfway done here and then hung. So I entered just about the best prompt I could to try to get exactly what I was looking for. Let's take a look at what it gave me. All right, it gave me a visual detail for the entrance, just like I asked, some flavor text. I can read aloud to the parties. Room 2 obstacle, an old and unstable bridge. That's fine, we can do that. Ambush encounter. Oil and metal. For 2 rust monsters, a thug, and a warhorse skeleton. Now, I may be wrong, but I'm not entirely sure that these monsters are actually appropriate for this encounter. Let's find out. I don't think. And this is the problem. I can tell it to make 3 CR3s, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will. Yeah, see, a warhorse skeleton is a CR1 half. Now, you could do this encounter just the way they said, right? We could go to 5e tools. We could pop open a warhorse skeleton, and we could make it a CR3. Now, this is good too, because if you have experienced players that just play all the time and they know all these monsters and stuff, they're not going to expect a CR3 warhorse. They're like, oh no, it's it's the same old warhorse. But the problem, and you can even roll it here too, if you just want to play here. You can pop on a dice roller and roll its strength checks, roll its attack rolls with all of its adjusted stats. The only issue is that it kind of scales linearly and it doesn't do everything equally. Like, notice his AC didn't go up much. I don't know how I gotta save this or something. There we go. His AC doesn't go up much. His hit points go up a lot, but what they do to scale things CR wise in here is just crank damage, right? They got this horse to a 96, which is kind of overkill. All right, same thing. We also had a thug, CR1 half, and we had a rust monster, CR1 half. So these monsters, unless we want to triple the amount of them, are not really appropriate to this. So this is the problem I was having the other day. Sometimes it just doesn't know. It doesn't know what these monsters are. And if you notice too, these are all going to be monster manual monsters. I asked it to do the Kobold Press stuff. It doesn't really know. So we're probably going to have to generate the encounters ourselves the old-fashioned way. But we can still use these details. The visual details, the room layouts, the flavor text stuff to read aloud is really good. We got the weapon caches, room 5 puzzle. We're getting a lot of high vaulted, dimly lit chambers. Like every room, high vaulted ceilings and dimly lit. That's okay. You don't have to read that all out every time. So now it's going to ask us to solve some riddles. I don't love riddles because all of these could just be solved online and then they're not a lot of fun. So we're gonna have to ask it to do another puzzle. Man, it kind of glitched on me a little bit. It might hang sometimes if it's writing a long prompt. It might just stop. Just ask it to continue, and it'll continue. Again, it did a bugbear and hobgoblins, and we could do bugbears and hobgoblins, but they are not the appropriate CR. So we could do 2 bugbear chiefs and a hobgoblin warlord or devastator, moderately tweaked a little bit, or we could just look for kind of our own monsters, because again, these are all monster manual monsters. It's kind of meh. Large open room filled with sounds of clanging armor and shuffling footsteps, dimly lit, few torch scones, center room, a group of 4 soldiers, armed and armored, waiting to ambush the parties. I mean, if they're waiting to ambush you, they probably wouldn't be sitting around in the middle of the room. But again, we can fix that. 2 bugbear chieftains, CR8. Bugbear chieftains is not a CR8, but all right. So it kind of took what I gave it. It took my instructions. It released an imperfect prompt. This is probably what you're going to get the first time. So now let's fix it. Let's give it a little, because the great part is it learns and remembers from the things you wrote. So it's going to remember all this other stuff. Now let's fix it a little bit. All right. Back to our list of encounters. We're going from 3s at the lowest to 8s at the highest. 3s to 8s. And seeing as how these are monsters that all have to ambush, they probably all have, I would say, ranged attacks. And we could make an all-humanoid dungeon. We could do that. Make them militaristic. Make them humanoid. Let's do that. Where in the heck is my has ranged weapon thing? There it is. Has ranged weapons. Type. We'll go with humanoid. We also do fiends, giants, aberrations. All smart enough to lay ambushes. Ranged attacks so they can sit in cover and launch sniper attacks and stuff. All right, so here we go. We'll get some on our own. And again, this has the expanded list of options that I have. So, that one like that. Not a huge exhaustive list here of creatures with ranged weapons. So maybe you don't want to make that a thing. Maybe we could take ranged weapons out of it. Now we're going to get a much more exhaustive list here. Okay. All right, so let's actually set these encounters up. 4 3s in the first trash mob. We'll go with something we haven't fought before. We fought these archers the other day. Martial arts adepts. Okay, I don't think we've come across those yet. We'll use the MMPM versions, or MPMM versions. They're a little bit more updated. So we typically got a ton of monks in the party. Let's turn monk back around at him. And we'll go with 4 4s. thing. Scroll down a little bit to 4s. Let's do 2 different types of enemies in here. We'll go with 2 Orc War Chiefs and 2 Cruel Death Priests. What do they look like? We fought those guys before. Hobgoblin Devastators. We can do Orcs and Hobgoblins working together. Could do that. Those things are kind of weird looking. Gear Mage. Mages just get blitzed immediately, but we could do it. Oh, they reshape metal with a touch. That would be kind of a thing for ambushers. Cloud kill, animate objects, dispel and counterspell. Ooh, yeah, that'll frustrate the players a little bit. All right, we'll do 2 orcs, and we'll do 2 gear mages. We'll make them orcish too in our presentation. Our extra fight, the optional, if everything's super easy and they happen to explore every single room one, we'll throw in a gladiator and our 2 3s. Couple bear folk. All right, now we need our big boss, 2 CR8s. Let's go with 2 different types. We'll do 1 magic and 1 melee, or 1 ranged and 1 melee type thing. Frosty the Snowman. So this is going to be something that just takes place in a treasure vault. Scorpion Assassin. That's a good ambusher, right? It's got a couple spells. All right. Scorpion Assassin. And this seems kind of high for it's these big groups, man. They push it over the edge. But only 105 hit points. They'll get through that pretty quick. They'll be all right. Inquisitor of the Tome, Inquisitor of the Sword. What do they do? Some psionics, great invisibility. That's good for. It regens a little bit. It attacks a little bit. It teleports around, frustrating them. All right, yeah, we'll do that. That seems like a good. Wait, what does the tome guy do? Is he anything better? Force bolt, teleconic deflection. That's kind of fun. All right. Oh, he's only got 11 armor class. What about that? Yeah, he's kind of not good. Let's go back to that tome of the sword guy. Oh, we got one last tome guy. Inquisitor of Fire. So you got more magic stuff. Man, he's got a stun. But 77. Okay, yeah, he's got a stun, but he'll die pretty fast. So that's fine. We'll do these 2 guys. Bonus boss, 6s and 4s. This guy. Pretty creepy looking. Kind of weak. Must have some strong magic. Paralyzed. Go. Well, we'll attack. So I'm dealing with that. A big old hill giant. Good old beat stick. It's just doing this kind of hitting itself thing. I don't know. A decent beat stick, but well, there's going to be a couple monsters in here. Yeah, we can do a couple of these guys. All right. We've got to remember this is just a low-level group. Two mouths and 3. What's a reckoner? High AC. Pretty intelligent. First strike. Not that it needs it. Couple spell. Lightning bolt. Probably won't use lightning bolt, although it is the bonus boss. Maybe I'll use 1. All right. That's not bad. And we got like the barbarians and such, immune to all the damage. So it shouldn't be too bad, but you can also scale them back if they're kicking ass. You don't have to lay it in with all their strong spells, and the save's kind of low too. So yeah, it's not bad. This regular attack's kind of shit. So yeah, they'll be fine. All right, so now we got an updated list of enemies here. Let's go back to our AI generation and ask it for some edits. Okay. Well, everything had a big vaulted ceiling. The puzzle was in room 5. Anything else I wanted to change? What else did it do here that I didn't love? Everything else is pretty good. So we'll edit in the exact monsters. Where do I have my fights here? Room 3. That's not how you spell Minotaur. Room 8. Need to change? All right. I've given it some updates. I've given it the exact monsters. I've changed the flavor a little bit. I'm going to try to make it a smaller rooms instead of these large vaulted ceilings and all these things. We'll make it something that fits the battle maps a little bit better and fits the theme of being an abandoned fortress. Fortresses don't have large, sprawling rooms. It's, utilitarian. It's a military building. It's cramped and small. So we'll change that. Gave it the direct monsters, gave it a little bit of flavor text for the rooms. It's going to take this, it's going to add it to all the stuff it added before, and we should get something pretty good. Let's give it a shot. I'll pause again. All right, here we are. We've got the updated version. Let's go through and see how this turns out. Entrance 1, armored door, walls are adorned, banners and trophies, blah, blah, blah. Good stuff. Another bridge, broken chasm. All right, nice obstacle, slow them down a little bit. Ambush room. Spring from the Shadows. All right, pretty good. Flavor text again. Crossroads in room 4. Perfect. Deduction challenge room 5, which we'll go back to. That's going to be over here. Which of the bunk beds belong to the captain of the fort? All right. This one we're probably going to have to ask it for an additional clarification on, because with the puzzles, the problem is it'll come through, it'll give you the puzzles, but it won't necessarily give you the answers, right? Same thing here. It gave you a puzzle technically, but now the onus is on you to come up with the clues, which is the whole point of me doing this. I don't want to come up with the clues. I don't want, because then I have to figure out a puzzle. We'll come back for that. Ambush room 6 up here. Yep, just another little blurb about the enemies. Deliberation room, room 8. Oh, debilitation room. This is a deliberation room. All right. Now it's kind of losing the it's replacing its flavor text that it was giving out with overwriting it with what my input, which is okay, but now we're losing a little bit of what we asked it to do. So we might try for 1/3 revision here. Boss battle. Okay. There you go. So this is pretty good. We'll ask it one more time to describe the clues for room 5. See if it can come up with them. Sometimes they can't. Sometimes it'll just be like this. Yeah, it just, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's not, this just isn't helping. So probably gonna have to go through a couple of revisions there. But see, this is the basic way to use it. Doing it the way I was doing it before, we're asking it a little bit too much, and it already kind of changed its mind, because now it has moved the key from room 7 into room 5. So you see, it loses the thread a little bit. So you can't leave it completely on its own to do whatever, but it has given us all of this text here just to help with describing what's going on. And that by itself, even if you want to go back and use some of this more flowery text from the earlier rooms, you don't have to say bugbear and hobgoblins. You can say, what's really there. Because they got the metal clanging and shuffling footsteps, although they did clanging armor and shuffling footsteps a lot of times. But you see what I mean. So that it still requires hand holding, but with enough revisions and you knowing what you want to do and setting it up this way where you number the rooms and just ask it for details. Don't if you just leave it up to the AI to kind of do its own thing, it'll go off the rails. But if you keep it on task and be like, okay, we're going to go room by room, what's in this room, what's in this room, what's in this room, it can do a pretty good job and help you, amplify your own skills as well, because a lot of this stuff will just help with the generic ass pulling you have to do with rooms. Like for me, because the old generators I would use would be very, very limited. They would not have any detail at all other than like what the walls are made of and what the smells and stuff were in the room. So this is a nice next step. It's not quite 100% perfect yet, but I think this is the optimal way to use it going forward. Not as a replacement, but just as an assistant. All right, I'm going to stop this video before it goes over an hour, but it'll post it up later.